time, it's a real blessing to invite Mike Walsh to share with us an intersection of faith.
As an introduction, my wife Kate and I have called this our church for more than 20 years. Our kids, Jake and Jesse, were baptized right here. They went to preschool here, Sunday school here. Some of you may have even gone to church camp with Kate and I as we were counselors there for a couple years. Or maybe you were in Scouts with Jake and I, like Joe was. With all that history and with all those people that do know me, I find it a little surprising that Peter would let me come up here and stand in front of you Sunday morning with a microphone. I mean, Eve and Charlie know to keep me away from the microphone. But I'm not Moses. I didn't go to the mountain to meet God. I went to the mountaintop because it was the most awesome father-son adventure I could imagine. The summer of 2003, I hired Exum guides to lead Jake and I up to the summit of the Grand Teton, which is in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Not the tallest mountain in Wyoming, but definitely one of the most beautiful and one of the best known in the world. Jake and I had been there 2 years earlier with Exum in the mountains. We took some climbing lessons, and it was at that time that we thought, hey, it would be great to do the summit of the Grand. After that, we had gone to the rock gym and practiced there. We had gone with the Scouts on many rappelling campouts. We climbed locally with friends around. So we felt pretty prepared. Actually, the week before we went, we were at high altitudes at Philmont. So all in all, we were ready for this trip. Now, the actual climb takes 2 days. The first day is mostly hiking and scrambling, and then the second day starts in what they call an alpine start. That's like at 4 o'clock in the morning when it's still dark out. You put on headlamps and you start your climb. So by, I guess maybe it was like 7 o'clock or so, it was getting light out and the sun was there, and we hit a wall that we needed to climb. Now, this climbing is like on the Discovery Channel. You've probably seen the Discovery Channel where you see climbers. Maybe you've seen them climbing Everest. Well, this is real climbing with the harnesses, the carabiners, the ropes, the helmets, and to me it felt like Everest. When we hit this wall, we had to do 8 pitches. And a pitch is a sequence of events where the guide goes up above you about 10 meters, sets a belay, and then I followed him while he held the rope tight, so if I were to slip or fall, he would catch me. I would get up to that ledge where he was. He would show me how to position myself and set the belay. Put your foot here, lean out against this rock here. I would set the belay, and then I would bring Jake up after me to that same ledge. Before I would bring him up, though, the guide would go up above me, about 10 meters. So this is the cycle. That's one pitch. And again, there's about 8 of these on this cliff. So we were about 4 or 5 pitches into this climb. And this is at 10 or 11,000 feet on this exposed face. And as I got up there and met the guide, and he was telling me, put your foot here, lean up against this rock, position yourself and secure yourself, I looked over down to where Jake was. And I started to lose it. I got that feeling of I didn't know where I was in the world, that feeling of being lost. And then my mind started to swirl with all these thoughts of, I don't feel real secure here. What if I slipped? If I slipped and I fell, how long would I be in the air and feel myself falling? When I hit, what would that feel like? When I hit that crushing pound into the solid rock? And I was like, oh, what if I were to hit Jake on my way down and take him off the mountain and he would fall too? Or pull him off as the rope went by? Wow, if he hit, that might kill him. What if I killed my son on this trip? How could I ever tell Kate and Jesse that he was dead? How could I go on with my own life if this happened? This was a stupid idea. So, as I ran this through my mind, the guide looked at me and said, well, what's the problem? What's the matter? And I immediately started, spewing out that same sort of, it's really high up here, and if I fall, it'd be a long way down, and if I hit, I'd probably get killed, and I could pull you and Jake off. And I must have stopped to take a breath or run out of steam. And again, we're on this small ledge up in the clouds. And he's right next to me, like 6 inches away, because that's all the room there is. And clearly and calmly, he looks at me and says, "It's best not to think too much about that." So now the only thought in my mind is, it's best not to think too much about that. And I have peace. Jesus said the same thing in Matthew when he said, "Will all your worries add a single day to your life?" And I don't think the guide or Jesus was saying, be oblivious to danger. Don't plan, don't practice, don't be a good scout and be prepared. But for sure, the guide knew I was a danger to everyone, of no use to anyone, and missing the beauty of the place I was as long as I was in this mental void of doom. Now, over the past couple years, like you, I've been in some scary places. Can I pay the bills? Raising kids. Will I lose my job? College. Aging parents. Broken relationships. Kate's illness. Not a week goes by that I'm not back out on that ledge, hearing the words of the guide and of Matthew saying, "It's best not to think too much about that."